So I thought I'd make a video. They keep beating the fuck out of me with these electronic devices, and all my teeth, front and bottom teeth, hurt. And all the entire row of teeth fucking hurt. And they're shooting some sort of electronic device or putting some type of poison that some makes the teeth very sensitive. But they're continually beating my chest with these devices and these boxes and blocks all throughout the walls and downstairs, and they keep relating it to my dead sister, to the Jesus Christ cross, I'm not obeying their God, and so on and so on. And they, it's very upsetting because this all falls on the President of the United States shooting my mother and fucking her in the ass. It's so overwhelming because I know I'm smarter than all these people, and I'm not trying to be egotistic when it comes to this various different types of particular situations on how greed and selfish was just entirely involved with the Cooper family. But it doesn't change who's in power. If they want to, you got nothing but faggots and gays at that White House and at Congress. That's all that's there. All the fucking security guards, the police officers, 100%. That's all you got, faggots up in there. Governors, that's all that's fucking there. The secretaries, that's all faggots in there. Run everything there. You have the police department like that. You have the bosses and co-workers that I'm going to. And there is no way this was ever going to be a winning fight. Especially since Michael Jackson was in the picture. They didn't want to kill and assassinate Ken Cooper or Sarah Cooper when they could have to save the country. Well, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say they didn't want to go put them in their place. And it's so overwhelming because my mother is as smart as a bag of rocks, okay? I don't have a problem for the rest of my life working for a fucking warehouse, and that would be the end of my life. Because the President of the United States and these people only want to use me for resources. That's all they want to use me for. I have no worthy of life other to them. These people kill people all the time. They dispose of human life, and they want to act as heroic and the right position of genius. And they do it again. Look at, I can't even finish this goddamn conversation before this faggot downstairs keeps hitting the crucifix and my chest and directing me in doing this. Now they're electrocuting my right heel. They have so much goddamn fucking control over every fucking thing that I've done for so fucking long that this is all about those fucking faggots and this white supremacist motherfuckers. That's from top to bottom. This is full-blown white supremacy Ku Klux Klan. They're going to be protected because they're fucking white and transgender and faggots. That's 100% keep them the way that it is to be straight and all this other bullshit. Those are faggots. Those are living a double fucking life, and they don't want to spill the beans because you kill a nice little old lady and man, and that's not the truth. How disgusting these pigs fucking were. And however much I keep letting go of it, it doesn't change the fact that there's using ingenious psychology to contaminate and poison and dilute the story. This is why none of the stories you hear about the military or the history books is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit because it is his story, not history. And it's frightening. Even right now as I'm talking, they have a device that makes you feel like crying. It's like kind of crying cringe in the body and in the surface of my body. So you can't really communicate. I can't really communicate, and they've been doing this for over fucking 10 years. They are beating the fuck out of me to direct me in positions so that it makes it for white supremacists and this faggots and this piece, those garbage, worthless fucking pigs and Kenneth. They already know that they got busted in such a horrific, selfish greeds. Frankie being fucked for 10 years, Sarah and Ken when I was 5 years old. The time has already passed. The police department knew about this. They knew Ken and Sarah knew. when I was 5 years old. They knew, and that's why they went after and they sent a platoon for years, following us, the faggots, going after my mother, continuing to fuck Frankie, and then training him at school, and then how to behave, how to teach him how to be gay, and how the functions of the fucking gay spirit. Like they do this crazy shit to children when they know that they've been fucked a bunch. That this one's going to be a faggot. He's going to be fucking gay, and it's very difficult because it doesn't change that he's my brother, and I'm watching him get a low quality life and be ass fucked so that they can make Kenneth and Madison look glorious, and that's exactly what happened. Because I'm the only defense of this entire family, of that existence that I'm the only fucking defense, only fucking storyteller in defense. Frankie is incapable of fucking telling you of so much of what the fuck's going on, and neither is Julian. And my mother has a first grade education. My mother has a fucking brains for a bag of fucking rocks, a bag of fucking pebbles for brains. Okay, spaghetti for fucking brains. She's been abused and severely abused and just raped and fucking just being shitted on, and I know that she can blossom. She was always trying to blossom to a better, but could not because it was Ken and the faggots. And you don't understand that the psychologists were doing this on purpose. They know that I was going to be directing the anger at Ken and Sarah for all these years when it was Kenneth that was doing it. And it doesn't ever change the fact. Everywhere I go in life, I don't know anything about this. And all they have to do is this. I didn't do anything. Did Frankie get fucked in his ass? Jesus Christ. Let me cry because Frankie was bleeding out of his ass. Sarah Cooper for the president. He was just Sarah Palin at the Congress and White House. And it's all acting. It's so ingenious that my mother will never be able to identify the predators that were around her and what they did. I'm watching my mother cry, and there's a faggot that's charging my mother at Cece's Pizza. And this is the only time I ever saw that little girl eat at a restaurant. And this is my sister. And Ken Cooper's supporter charged at me. This motherfucker was there. He was eating by himself. When I get back to Carrollton, I'm going to go to that restaurant. It's an Asian restaurant now. I don't know if it's still an Asian restaurant or an Indian, or if it's even still there. But the last time I went there, it was an Asian. It was an Asian restaurant. I think I might have eaten there maybe once. I don't even know if I ever did go back to the Cece's Pizza. But it's an Asian restaurant now. I don't know if it's still there. But I'll go there and I'll eat. And I'll show y'all. I don't know what the interior looks like. But kind of give an idea of what had happened. Nobody knows these stories. I'm watching my mother get teary and cry and not wanting to touch her daughter. And like the way that she's eating her pizza, she's having to eat it in pain. And this guy is sitting there. Killing people. Like, I swear this is what this pig was eating like this. And he was full-blown Ken Cooper spirit. This guy was blonde hair, blue eyes, shaped like Ken Cooper, and there was nothing for me and my mother at all. There was no argument. I think it was 11 years old. My dad hadn't committed suicide yet. I don't think my dad had. And I'm sitting there in front of my mother asking her, why are you crying? And she's eating her food like, and I know how she's like, I gotta throw the dead child away for Ken Cooper and Sarah. Like, another dead child. And she cares for the child, but it's so frustrating because I'm the only defense. I'm the only storyteller. At 41 years old, these stories are so fucking worthless and garbage, and they try to get credibility because they already helped this faggot and this transgender Ken Cooper, Kenneth, and that family. Kenneth was at the radio station by the time I was already 13 years old. he was already building this credibility in these faggots. Whenever shit hits the roof, or if it does ever, it's going to go on his side, and it did. Then the niggas are going to find out the blacks, and then the blacks then team up. But the blacks have to do what's best for the blacks, and it's a very frustrating thing, because I don't think it's so much of that I really just can't let go. It's more of the fact that they're eating the flesh and ripping it apart, my sister's dead body, in enjoyment for that white supremacy, and that's all this is about. I go to the post office, they get Ken Cooper. Every time they get these actors, and they hit me again in the chest, and it's this piece of shit. I go to the post office earlier today, and this white supremacist piece of shit then starts acting and role-playing, and they get an identified character, they get the person to act, and he's playing white supremacist. Anybody, would have been irritated, beyond expression to what, it feels like that there's nothing that you can do, and this white motherfucker wants to protect Ken Cooper and the white power for Ken Cooper and the president, and it's what it is. It's for the white supremacist pigs. And there you go. He hits me in the chest again, because he's just making my heart beat, just like whenever my heart stopped whenever Michael Rossiter fucking resuscitated me, huh? Then it was Jesus Christ for fucking Michael Rossiter. It's nonstop. If I didn't have these crucifixes, I would be going to the grocery store, and they would continue doing that. And it's very frustrating, because I had my mother mapped out very well. The fact is that her twin showed up and fooled me for so long. My mother's being, I've talked about this so many times, when my mother's being raped in her ass and fucking crying and showing up to the house, and I don't know, I'm asking her what the fuck she's going, I can't go to the bathroom, all this other shit. I have to experience knowing her daughter, why are you going over there? Like, what the fuck, and how Frankie's behaving? You don't give a shit. This is about Kenneth Bean Hip Hop Station with the faggots. I'm a girl, and I have tits, but I'm really a man, and at least I bring you down like me. Oh, I'm a tough guy like my dad. Like, this is so psychotic and so fucking bad. Like, I can't even have a conversation. They'll make me pass gas and then make me smell my own shit. Like, this is what they do to me. This is unbearable about the things they were doing to me even when I was 25 years old. When I was 26 years old. It was non-stop. Being slapped in the fucking head, being harassed, being all this shit. And it's because they don't want me to say anything. Frankie's in there in his room smelling his own shit for fucking 10 years. The mental fucking poison that he is going through is unimaginable. And all they're doing was parasitically sending their faggots, because they know that all they have to do is hide. And I know nothing about what's going on for fucking 20 fucking years. 20 fucking years, 25 years. They know they just have to send their faggots. And their spirit of the faggot, the spirit of the white power. Once they do that, I'm eating the shit. And they don't know why. I don't know. I was just Ken Cooper. I was just Sarah Cooper. I feel sorry for Sarah. That's why at the Congress they're bringing Sarah Palin was over behaving like Sarah Cooper and throwing her wings around, because they know everything. All the frustration and anger has to go somewhere, and they know that it's going to be directed at my mother, and they know it's going to be directed at her twin, and they know it's going to be directed at my immediate family, because I didn't get what I wanted, and that wasn't the case. It was because of what they did, and there was no justice, and you didn't want to fucking fuck these motherfuckers up, and it was a bunch of faggots and transgenders that did this shit. And I absolutely know that the word of your words have a lot of power when you tell people and influence them to get them to do what they want. And that's what Kenneth did, and that's what Sarah and Ken did. I know nothing about what's going on. Absolutely nothing. I fucking don't know anything. It puts me in the most vulnerable situation because it brings predators everywhere. And chest pieces are being fucking moved. Rapes are happening. I know, and you hit me in my chest just like Jesus Christ, and you keep doing it, you fucking faggot. There you go, you fucking faggot. So now he's hitting the bathroom, and that's where he shits. So he goes and hits the crucifix right now, and then he goes hits the fucking bottom of the toilet over here in the bathroom, because you see that's where you shit. It's psychology, huh? Do you remember when Frankie was crying when he was being ass fucked? I'm waiting for him to hit something, a crucifix or something to signal you the next decision he's going to make. What I'm supposed to psychology be brainwashed with. It's excruciating because they're shooting the electronic device and they have all this other shit while I'm trying to talk, and I could have shared this information and said, and no one wants to believe me, that whenever the private investigators and the detectives and shit were at PBK, a lot of those motherfuckers, they were ruthlessly going. They had a lady that there was for Sarah Cooper, and you don't understand what these pigs were fucking doing. They were so knife cutting toward me, trying to preserve and protect the white race for Ken and Sarah Cooper. Like, it's so frustrating because these pigs were making decisions. I, not only being raped with my brother, Frankie is fucking being pork roasted. One guy is the guy that was raping my brother many years ago. He looked a little bit like this guy downstairs. He was sticking his dick right up Frankie's ass, fucking him. Whenever my uncle was sticking, uncle was sticking his dick in his mouth at the same fucking time. When I walked in, I looked in there very slightly and was scared because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And he was just sitting there with his mouth open, like crying, like with tears and shit, with a big dick in his Ken Cooper's dick in his mouth, and a Ken Cooper lookalike, this guy downstairs fucking him in his ass, pork roasting him like over barbecue. So that 97.9 The Beat in Madison can have a good party and be angels and white supremacists and make sure they get a fine dandy life and a good credible life. It's so fucked up that, I know that the frustration and anger is not going to do anything. And now they just hit me in my face. They just hit me in the side painfully here. But you didn't want to beat the shit out of fucking Kenneth about what that faggot was doing at his apartment though, huh? It's what this guy looks like. He looks like this kind of guy. He does look a little bit like him, a little bit darker complected, but he looks the same, similar body shape. I'm watching this happen, and it happens partially to me when I get raped. And I know, and they keep shooting me right now with these laser beams, these devices all over my face right now. But I can never express enough. I know that there's, violence is not going to do anything. It is such a forfeited loss. Violence is, does nothing. It's such a clean victory because they don't want to execute the innocent just to give the signal to the rest of the faggots and these whites. Okay, well, I'm going to go put 100 whites, but I want this one skinned alive and dead. Crippled like a piece of shit. Gutter him out like a fucking worthless piece of human. Just like Auschwitz. We'll put 100 white and we'll put another 100 transgenders, but I want that one dead. Okay, but it's Keno Madison, white power, Madison, and it's huge riots of faggots and white power motherfuckers, and that's all this is about. This is from the very beginning. Cops, this faggot downstairs, Frankie being fucked in his ass all the fucking time. It was Ken Cooper that didn't, said something to the police and detective, but it's all bullshit. This faggot gets a fucking raise and a new detective position within 3 to 4 years after Frankie has now been fucking fucked in his ass, and he knew when I was 5 years old, right? He came over to my house and I saw him in front of the goddamn fucking door picking up. I saw him. I saw Sarah Cooper come in and signal to, and I couldn't figure out why she was looking at the fucking wall. And over to my father and goes like this. And kept on sizing him up to see if he fucking knew. I was 5 fucking years old. And it was just red carpet. Oh, I didn't know. I was just, feel sorry for me. And they put on a whole fucking show. Disrespectful to my mother. There's no opportunities. You have Jerry Jones, I just recently watched, that's even crying on TV saying, I shitted on my wife, feel sorry for me, and I cheated on her. You got a billionaire faggot motherfucker at the Dallas Cowboys who owns a fucking Super Bowl stadium. This motherfucker is crying because he just wants to put a show on, and that's what all the celebrities are doing. All the athletes is just, you gotta help the blacks. You know how, Keno supported black niggas. It's so fucked up because it's fetching out for a fucking normal life and you're never getting it. We're never getting it. And it was all because of Michael Jackson. The spirit of Michael Jackson is why they wanted to shift around the political, because it fell on my lap. It fell on me where I could use it as a political movement among the whole world. And I could take advantage of it too, and they didn't want me to, so they had to infect me with HIV and then make an excuse why, oh shit. But it's excruciating because as much as we suffer that really some of it had no responsibility of anybody being blamed for, other than the fact they kept quiet and didn't want to say anything. I see them making me burp. The thing about that is it doesn't change the fact that nobody had any faults in it. Frankie, me being molested and raped, Frankie got the worst of all of it in fucking Mexico. It doesn't change the fact that when we went to Leach's house, I was being poisoned. Well, that really wasn't anybody's fault, but word got around that this guy wanted a piece of ass because Ken Cooper didn't want to say it, or Sarah Cooper wanted to be Angel in front of the fucking cameras. Kenneth, I was in the fucking car, and you don't understand how manipulative Kenneth is. It is very difficult for me to grasp. This person is fucking mentally fucking fucked up crazy. And let me tell you how intoxicating. They know that their red flags covered, busted all the way through, and now the president is covering up, and they're white supremacists are. The faggots, that's exactly what they're doing. I get on the bus 3 days ago, and this guy that is a transgender male is severely mentally ill. This piece of shit this guy needs to be put in a mental hospital. Whatever's brewing in this person's brain is fucking disgusting. And this guy is sitting like 3 chairs in front of me, or at the front, and he was a guy that was trying to poison me on the bus with homosexuality, like trying to hit on me and trying to do some very sick, spiritual, disgusting shit to me. And I get on the bus, and this dude is like a fucking grandma. She's like a grandma that is old, but dresses like a full-blown man, and like earrings, and he's like 70 years. I mean, this person needs to be in a fucking mental hospital. It's fucking gross. I get on the bus, and this person tries to put these impressions in my brain of wanting to grow my breast, maybe have a vagina, and be feminine and woman. And this guy is trying to project this crazy shit to me. And it's fucking crazy that this motherfucker, and he's like smirking. This guy is the same poison of what a child molester is. This is a fucking child molester. That motherfucker is a child molesting motherfucker. And he's doing it for Kenneth because he's trying to play his role as Kenneth, because Kenneth is a transgender. So he's trying to contaminate the situation so it rolls into his favor for Kenneth. And so this is how they train me, and they do all these abusive things and get on the bus, and the bus driver plays along with it. But these are some of the crazy things that nobody knows about. It's every single fucking place I go. I go into a grocery store, I go into the dollar store, waiting in line, the white supremacists and faggots show up and riots for Ken and Sarah Cooper, because this is the same way Frankie went 10 years being raped and never saying anything, because they trained him not to say anything. The same way that they behave, threatening, you know. Ken and Sarah Cooper knew about this whole fucking time. It doesn't change the fact that I don't know what's going on, because it was so poisonous, so toxic, and, you know, you don't understand that Ken Cooper was actually in the warehouse many years ago. Whenever my dad died, we went on a quick drive around town in this small town, and we get there, and Frankie starts crying in the balcony, she's making Frankie cry. But when we walk into this warehouse, there's a white supremacist motherfucker, and this guy looks like a golfer. This guy is one of those. He's one of those white faggot. He's one of those white supremacist motherfuckers that play golf and ride the convertible, white power, and just all about white. Just white nose and gets what they. You could tell he was full blown German white, like Ku Klux Klan borderline. He gets through life because he tells people he's white. And he has all these Mexicans working in his warehouse, and little spick Mexicans, and they do as he says, and it makes him the slave owner. Like, that's exactly what this, you know, he dresses like a golfer. We go in there and he pulls a knife, where he's sitting at the computer, at the monitor, and he looks at Frankie. And once we walk in there, just for a second, you know, he opens the door. Ken Cooper opens the door for Frankie, and he opens the door and he goes, "Oh yeah, you're just, you know, that's this guy right over here," and he pulls a knife, and he's just looking at the camera, and he pulls the knife, and he looks over at Frankie, and then looks at the monitor, and Frankie kind of gets withdrawn, like he's busted, like something's not right, and then he looks over at Ken like he's his daddy, and we're walking, and he's just milking Frankie the whole time, and I don't know. I begin to question everything. We get to the back, and then Frankie is like, he says, "It's okay. This is about white power and Ken Cooper and Kenneth and Sarah. We're going to help him with the white race and the Jesus cross for, you know, just like this faggot downstairs is going to help the credibility to be properly buried. At least they get a good life." I mean, he's crying in the balcony, and I kind of get upset, and I'm like, you know, and I'm in the car kind of hesitant, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what? I don't understand what's going on. And Ken Cooper's just like smoking a cigar, like, "Is it a real life detective? Sheriff's the white power. What?" It's like Drew Greenway used to say, "What? Remember the what, old pat? What?" They get the signal, and that's how they talk. Driving this fucking car like he's got me, all three of us bitched in, and especially Frankie sitting next to him. Frankie, me, Julian at the side of the window, and Ken Cooper's a driver, driving the same truck Ken is. And, you know, it's violence is never going to work. That, you know, as much as it would blown anybody to want to do those things, this is exactly why you know, so many people do go to prison and feel like murder is necessary, because you have pigs like that. They milk the situation and so ruthless to steal anything they can, that there was no justice. Like, you know, what Kenneth did and the words that he was using, I am so clean cut about it, that these people, all the faggots, all the transgenders, all the people at my job sites, this guy downstairs, this lady right over here, when I go to the post office, whenever I go to the dollar store, they're all in riots for Kenneth. That's all they're fucking, they don't give a fuck about anything. Kenneth is their fucking Michael Jackson trophy, because he led the way of Michael Jackson and the Jesus Christ cross, and he was protecting Miranda or Marissa, whatever the fuck her name was. And he was making sure that he's the one that could protect, because he wanted to, that's what he gave to Julian and the twins, to Susanna, and then that's what Sarah did, because that's what she gave. And that's how, like, it's so fucked up I'm in the car with him, and he is completely knows I don't know anything about this, going and just fucking milking it to the fucking. I mean, it's blood is coming out. There's not even milk in me. His blood is just coming out of me now, and it's so disgusting. Just like this guy starts trying to cover up, they play these crazy psychosis shit, and he's trying to do this to me. This guy's on the bus, and he keeps retaliating and following me in retaliation for Kenneth. Now, it's being correlated in very ingenious ways to give the faggot and the piece of shit credibility and some tokens for what he did. And you don't understand for what this piece of shit is fucking doing is at a scale that's unbelievably parasitical, that it's so self-absorbed and selfish and intentional. I want to harm you. I want to harm you and sabotage you. Sabotage you very calculatingly. Very calculatingly. And David is doing the same fucking thing. It's very difficult because, you know, they know my mother's stupid. I know my mother does not have the fucking brains, but I know that my mother, having the way, I know how the way much of how she would have thought and think about things. And and that's what it is they beat her ass so much, telling all these faggots and so many people, oh, I didn't do nothing, I was just being detective. Sarah Cooper, detective and Kenneth, go, what dreams come true. And they know, go send the people to harass you and rape you until you get broken down, and then that's what you do. I told you that's what you're going to do. You're doing it on your own, you see? Oh, you're walking now, Susanna. Look, you're walking now, Frankie, for Sarah Cooper in the White House and George Bush. You see, you would deserve a trophy now, Sarah Palin, for Frankie's ass being ripped open. Oh, George Bush. That's exactly what they're applying. That's what they're doing. This is not, I'm going to fucking help you. They want to help themselves. And every time I get on this bus, every time I go to the post office, I go to Walmart, all the faggots are on riots to protect Ken Cooper and have for before I found out any of this. At 36, 37 years old, when I'm at my job site, these people are retaliating at me so vengefully. These homosexuals, because they want to cover up their idolized, what they consider their faggot man, the quota of what the male is. You know, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, they were telling me that his niece got hired to work at the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, referencing maybe Madison. I don't know. It just, you don't understand that there's so many of these faggots that were covering up so many things that they just wanted to do it for Michael Jackson and then, you know, white power and then scum me, and that's what they fucking did. You know, it's very difficult, you know, and see, they just shot me and making me my muscle twitch here. And see, it makes you do this. Oh, you see, did you give Frankie a hug, Sarah, after he got fucked in his ass? Or about Kenneth give Frankie a hug because he saved Marissa or Miranda? You see? I want to see that. And it's very different. And they're making me pass gas now. And it's just an electronic device. They do this every single day. The same mechanisms that they're using, very similar, are psychological things as what they did to Frankie. They never keep quiet. Never to keep quiet and never say anything. And that's why. Even right now as I'm talking to you, I can feel my upper molars of my teeth hurt. And they're shooting an electronic device at me repeatedly. And it's very difficult because you know, violence is not going to do a goddamn fucking thing. Even if you know, it's never going to work. Violence is not going to do anything in the long term of things because they go about their business. The minute you're stupid enough, you go to prison. Whether you go there for life, 10 years, 5 years, they go on their life and they're laughing. They don't care. Those pigs eat feces, okay? That's what pigs fucking do. That's what Ken Cooper is. That's what Sarah Cooper, that's what Kenneth is. They eat shit. Feces. And just like they're making me pass gas, this is how they recontaminate me, blaming it on me. Okay? This is the psychology, right? But when Frankie was being fucked in his ass and crying his ass off, Ken Cooper was a fucking hero for telling my mother and father, and then I maybe giving a phone call. Even after they knew Frankie got fucked, he got a raise. He got a raise to be a detective to then start incarcerating people. They sent us I got that Christmas card from Sarah and Michael and Robert when I was about 7 years old. I was not older than 9 years old. I was about 7 to 8 years old. Could have been maybe 9 at the latest. 9 at the latest, but I'm going to say I was somewhere around... I was about 8 years old. I was about 8 years old when that happened. You see that I'm making me regurgitate? And they're sending a Christmas card. And they put like $15 in there. Michael sent a card. And my mother was infuriated. Snatched the cards out of my hand and threw them away. It was hurtful. Her son's getting fucked in the ass and you buy her dream makeovers house for keynote now to send it on the beat. And then Robert lives a $1 million mansion lifestyle. Then help Michael. Then help Kenneth get a brand new job as a detective. Then go feed it to Madison and Kenneth. But Kenneth is entirely milking the situation and playing off exactly what Kenneth and Sarah Cooper are doing. It doesn't change the fact that they did that to themselves. They did that to themselves. Nobody put them up to it. They were just scavenging like parasites to see what they could steal, take, and rearrange to whatever the fucking liking they was. They were not there to help. They did that to themselves. And when it got to the public, they told everybody, they came after me, Frankie, and my mother, and we paid for it. And I continued to pay for it for over 25 fucking years at all my fucking job sites. Because Michael Jackson, it's just because you Michael Jackson, it's just, and then but at least he got a better, but he doesn't have a dick, you see he has tits. But you see he's still a human being. And they just, it's so, because my mother is just throwing the babies and fucking for fuel and fire, and they don't want to punish them. I've been in nursing homes, and I've always understood, you always got to be careful with, people, because you don't know how these people got there. You're nice to them, man, but you don't know exactly what some of these people did. Some of these people raped little kids, and some of these people did some awful fucking shit to people. And they didn't get there gracefully because they got old. They were selfish, guttering, self-absorbed pieces of shit throughout their fucking life for many years. And they never got caught. And then they got scared to death when it was finally coming to their fucking door. And then they want to know that they can continue doing that shit. And they'll drag your ass to the fucking bottom. You always have to realize, I understood that. But, it's so fucked up and self-absorbed, because it's the entire community of faggots. It was swarms of wasps and fucking snakes all over the goddamn fucking place. And one of the things that I know that these people knew. Like before I got raped, they're making me burp. They keep passing these gases. They're making me vomit. And they're using an electronic device that makes me throw up. And they're using it right now on me. But one of the things that they were, like, I knew right before I got raped, and I don't know who it was on this phone, but it was a black girl. And I put a styrofoam cup, and I don't know what I did. I don't know if it was loogies. I don't know if it was food or something. I put something in there to watch it mold. And I just put it there, and I just put it on the corner of the fucking room, and I found these styrofoam cups in there. And it was when I was working for the federal government at EPA in downtown Dallas. Now, I had no desire. You ever hear in prison where they call it the stew or some crazy shit like that, and they put them in styrofoam cups, and because they only give them styrofoam cups, and what they do is they'll shit in there and put piss in there, and then it'll sit on there for like 3 weeks, for like 2 or 3 weeks, just molded feces and urine, and then they'll throw it at the police. Well, I got this cup, and I don't know what it was. I just had to put some food or some liquid in. I was just kind of being experimental, scientific, or whatever you want to call it. I had no desire to throw this at Barbara, no at all. And I just set it on there because I was just like, you know, to how long it would take for a food item to dispose of and start growing mold is dangerous. Because this is when I start to get scared, and I think to myself, I start to have to do experiments, and for myself to protect my life, because I don't know what they're putting in the fridge. I will never put food in the fridge. I won't ever put food in any of the work environments that I would never do that for over every job I ever went to. Never put food in the fridge because I was always afraid that they were going to poison me or contaminate me. And they did several times. Like I went to restaurants and they do this, but so I began running my own sort of survival ways to figure out, you know, signs that I could take a look at a piece of item or food that I had to be careful that somebody's doing something. So I would set it, and I only did this once, and I had it there for like a day or two, you know. But there's nothing violent. It's just, you know, kind of sort of, you know, being analytical about this. There was nothing violent about the situation. To me, I was just like, oh, to me, there was nothing violent. There was nothing at all. I pick up the phone and call a crisis line, and I don't know who it was. And this lady, black lady, I knew that they had cameras or something inside the room. And the person over the fucking phone threatened me, goes, try it. Like, said a threatening word. I swear to God, I was at Barbara's house. I was in my room. It was when I was at that house whenever I sold the QFO. I was at that house when I packed in the $1,200 item I took to the hospital, and the famous DJ Qbert QFO. It was more than probably $1,200. It was like $1,500 cash, maybe even a little bit more. And on brand new, and I bought it, but I had to sell it, and I sold it to some fat guy for like, I don't know, like $600 or $500, you know, and some guy was, you know, had a picture of a firearm, a gun, on his Facebook. I talked to the guy over the phone, sold it to him. But when I had that cup on there, I picked up the phone, and I was a crisis line, or whoever it was, and they tapped my phone and they made a threat because they thought I was going to use a cup. And it's a method that they thought I was doing in order to really get back at somebody. And since they had me cornered and they had their guns right at me like this, and they have all their weapons, thinking I'm about to go crazy, that's what they interpreted. The cup, they thought I was going to go and do something really bad, and that's not what I was doing. And this person threatened me over the phone. It was a black girl, and I remember that. And she got on the phone and she goes, "Try it." Oh, like, we're in control. This is American flag. This is a girl. I'm pretty sure this one was a female. But this is what this person, it was 100% threatening over the phone. And I immediately look at the cup and I thought, because all I'm thinking at this point is psychology. Everything around me is psychology. Everything. Like, what is it that you are trying to imply to me to try to poison me? You don't care about my life. And at this point, at 27 years old, this was the height of poison. I just had somebody that was murdered. This is 6 months before I get raped by the transgender. They're willing to pick up the phone call. They're willing to pick up the phone call to threaten me because they have a fucking cup out of all the little items inside my fucking room. All of the stuff, the bed, there's a computer desk, there's all these little items in my backpack. I have my clothes and all kinds of shit all over the place. But I'm not a messy person. They were paying attention to a fucking styrofoam cup that I had that had some food in there or some fluid in there that I just set to see, so I could protect myself. I can take a look to see how food disposes and starts to grow fungus and molds so that I can take and protect. And I remember thinking of that because I was so nervous somebody was going to have me poisoned and killed. They gave me a phone call to threaten me because they're so observant that I was the enemy. But within 6 months later, I'm getting raped by a transgender that walks into a GED center at a Richland College Community Center. Walks in there, is in there for 6 fucking weeks before anybody knows anything about what's going on. And when they did a roll call, I don't even think they even roll called Patricia Gardina's name. And Patricia Gardina did not show up until like the second or third day. They didn't show up. They did not show up. They weren't there from the very first day of class that I can recall. They were there. They showed up like 2 days or 3 days later. But they're willing to look at a fucking cup because they found the enemy. But I go to a college campus that has a police unit. At the college campus, they have a police unit. They have like a little fire, little police department there. The cops, whatever, like securities for the students. And this person walks freely right through there. This person probably had to have had a fake ID, and now they're making me pass gas, right? This is what they're doing to me. Nobody knows about this. Do they make any videos? Look at the phone records and who this person was. This person picked up the phone and knew what was inside that room. Imagine somebody calling you and you speak to the phone and you know exactly you're in a fucking room. What's the fucking item inside the fucking room? How scary that shit is. And I don't know anything about cameras. I knew this person knew what was inside my fucking room. I knew. I was like, what the fuck? This fucking piece of shit, bitch. This motherfucking bitch just knows what the fuck's in my fucking room. What the fuck are you doing? Like, who the fuck is who's doing this? Because I don't know who's tapping my phone, and there's a lock on the fucking door. This lady just got done slapping me. Like, this is like, I think I had been I don't know how, because I was only living there for 2 months, maybe 3 months at most. 3 months at most. And I can't remember if I had just gotten fired, and I may have just gotten fired, or it was right before I got fired. And then Barbara slapping me upside the head, like, violently. I'm your mother, because my mother gave her the fucking twin over to probably a transgender, and I'm being the one that's being slapped and beaten. Because you gave her $1 million house, but it was for Ken Cooper. But Barbara felt like Ken Cooper, protect him, and Sarah Cooper, because she was Sarah Cooper. This person's talking about my dead sister and taunting me about this shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but you gave my mother $1 million house, but they're fucking coming at me, and they came and they're ready to just kill Frankie. No, they wanted to come after me, and they did successfully, but it's about Kenneth and Madison and how we're going to help them because of white power. And it's not about race. It's not about white. It's just, oh, fuck you too. But the people that are fucking beating me with electronic devices, the people that are so calculated, they're a fucking styrofoam cup was like this. There's all these items. It's like if I were to put a styrofoam cup, the ones that give out in jail here somewhere, and somebody called you and picks up the phone and says that item is right there on your fucking table. And you have a lock on your fucking door, you don't know who's tapping your phone, you're stalking you. All this shit that's going on. You ever seen the movie The Scream? Or like something like that? Like the movie Scream where there's a guy looking in the fucking window with a knife? Or you ever hear about these terrorizing teenage movies where somebody will pick up the fucking phone and it's some fucking old guy and going after these 13-year-old little girls and they're all home alone and shit? It's like, shit, I can fucking add, and it hangs up the phone. Who is this? Who are you? It was like that crazy kind of stalking shit. What I was feeling at that time. And this person knows and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this person probably, because I knew that he went in prison. I do know that at that time I was aware, but I had nothing in that an idea. And I remember that person made the threat over the phone, saying, try it. And that's what they said. And so they thought I was planning to do a horrific act. And I don't know what the situation was, but it doesn't change the fact. Oh, but I didn't. We're so deserving of you. We give you 45 fucking tickets. We give you 40 fucking tickets. A transgender goes into a Richland college with a fake ID. Oh, it's transgender. And that's what I think happened. Nobody's ever came forward and explained to me, but I think that the reason Patricia was able to walk in there was because there was a transgender that played themselves in front of the desk and allowed this person to walk through. Like, allowed them to pass through. I don't know who it was. And they signaled. That's what I think happened. And it was some disgusting transgender at a fucking front desk that did that. And once they knew, because Patricia Gardina's name, I don't think, didn't get called the first couple of times. So I don't know how the situation, why any of these people didn't detect these things. And now I feel right now they're shooting me right down the side of my face, real violently. And it's very difficult. You know, I don't like it, you know, where something like this, because I do feel compassion to this person. Because, first of all, a transgender, there's a lot of transgenders that do prostitution because they get beaten by pimps, by gay pimps, okay? To sell your body for sex, and to do it on street corners, in underground worlds, probably at a low market value, where this person was, especially in the gays, it's the dirtiest, filthiest scum shit. And this person was probably being raped by a bunch of blacks, and was probably very manipulative. This person had a sex change. This person had a sex change. You had some of the most disgusting people fucking you. And you have to feel compassion to this person, because no matter, this person can't think for themselves. This person is fucking mentally fucked up. There is something wrong with these people. This person has had their amputated limbs, and your rotting pussy of rotting human flesh. And you have predators that were coming after you the entire time and didn't give a fuck. And that's what happened. But I forgot what I was going to say. I was trying to follow this up, and they're shooting an electronic device in my brain doing this to me right now. But understanding that that's what's happening with this particular type of discussion I'm trying to fucking have, that you have Patricia and you have me going to a college campus and me having a cup, and there was a murder, there was a threat over the phone. This guy, I think they assumed that I was going to go get a gun and go kill some people. With the money I got from the turntable, from the QFO, I was going to go kill some people because I was pissed, you know, and it was more for protection, if anything. More for protection from anything, because by this time I was getting sober. It was beyond anything you can imagine. I know, and just give Ken Cooper a gun. Oh, I'm sorry, I know he was detective. He needs a raise. Oh, he was just one of the straight ones over at the police department, and for the whites there, yeah. And it's fucked up, you know, like, you know, because they did this such calculation, and it was predators at my job site. And Gary Gwynn was charging at me so viciously in the way that he was behaving, and I think my mother had her twin just told me, saying that there were drug addicts, there were druggies, and he looked like he was on drugs. And this motherfucker was spitting tobacco and getting fucked up at work. Like, his eyes were bloodshot, fucking straight up drugged up at my job site, and then was a manager of mine. And they were using these people and some other people that were doing this fucked up shit to me. I mean, fucked up shit. And I'm just trying to build my life out of chemotherapy, and I start to not give a shit about my life anymore either, because I start thinking, well, maybe I'm just going to start doing dope. And I did smoke ice, methamphetamine once with Michael, and then I never called him again. I didn't want to go over there again. You know, and I couldn't believe, just at 26 years old, I smoked, you know, it was late 25, I think, or early 25, and I smoked meth. And I remember that. And Michael was encouraging me to smoke that bowl of meth and take a couple of hits. And I just had a transplant 2 years ago. There you go. And then 2 years later, he continued, you gotta stop hanging around with him. And then, sure enough, life gets worse. I need to make friends, and I call him. And then this, whenever I don't smoke meth again, I think I may have done cocaine. I think I did cocaine once I did cocaine once, no more than twice, but I did it once after my transplant. And sure enough, the stress is so unbearable. I have to make a relationship. I have to start building because things are so bad at my job. You don't understand that I don't know about what these people know about Sarah and Ken, but they're coming at me because they want to secure that their decisions they did to my mother and the family and their gays is because to help Kenneth. And the faggot that's on the radio station, he's the leader of the faggots over the radio station because he just wants to be his dreams. And it's so fucked up because I don't know why and this information, because it bleeds still. Everyone. This piece of shit is on the fucking radio broadcasting this shit to everything. Who the fuck do you think you're broadcasting this shit to? Hey everybody, go attack him. Oh, I didn't do nothing for the faggots of Barack Obama's transgender. Like, it's because that's their fucking leader, and it's so fucked up because I didn't do anything. And I did all the right things, but it doesn't change the fact they're cornering me and I can't defend myself, but I had the police officers giving me all these goddamn tickets. Anyway, all this is the past, and it's so fucked up, I can't even imagine. It's excruciating because there's so much fucked up shit I know they did to my mother, and I occasionally think about, like, oh, I went to the grocery store with my mother that day, or I went to the store that day with my mother, and this piece of shit faggot Ken Cooper lookalike shows up, you know. And I talked about this so many times. We went swimming. I went swimming when I was about 6 years old with my dad, 7 years old. And Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper's lookalike showed up. Exactly. I'm talking to the bone actors of them. Exactly. Showing up and stopped us all the way at Rosemead Pool. And my dad panicked. He was like, hey, behave. And my dad got scared, was telling me to behave as soon as they walked by. And they looked at my mother like, you got to do. And I remember the lady that looked like Sarah looked at my dad and was just like, and was giving him dirty looks. And my dad was doing his normal exercises back and forth in his swimming pool, and there was no one around. I saw Ken Cooper. I could have been even Ken Cooper himself. And there was fat ass piece of shit and Sarah Cooper walking, and they were dressed in full clothes. They weren't dressed like they were going swimming. And they were there to give the threats, and my dad panicked. He's like, hey, behave. No. And he was like, oh, I gotta man up. I gotta man up. And I remember that. Do you see? You don't remember that shit, dude. This is before our GPS tracking devices were being placed on cars. This is how well they were navigating through this goddamn shit. But I remember the guy threatening my father when we were giving him tickets, because my dad, when we used to go swimming, he used to buy the $20 packets or the 20 ticket packets. So you had like a packet of 20 or 25, and there's little blue cards, and you just rip one off, and then you just go to the front desk and you pass it to the Rosemead Pool person, and you walk through. And I remember this guy who was very aggressive toward my dad and was looking at my dad like, you better fucking behave and do what you need to do. My dad, a lot of the times, we'd be walking together, and I'd tell you, hey, why is that guy kind of looking at you? Don't worry about it. Fuck him. And my dad would say those words to me as we're walking into this white area. And they're going to say it's race, but it wasn't because it was race. It was because of the faggot. And it was because of Ken, and that was why, and Michael Jackson. But I remember we went to a swimming pool. We went to a pool where it was only white people. We were the only colored people there. There was no this was a white people, and my father was very much like that. But nobody knows about that. Nobody knows about that. And I sometimes think to myself, I was like, oh, I remember that one time I went to 7-Eleven and motherfucking, because it just exploded. Frankie got raped. That's the picture of Susanna looks like. Go bitch her in. It's like when they shake my mother's head. And it goes on with the things that are going on. But for me, I understand it's the fucking past. But it's so unsettling how these people got rewarded. I'm paying very deeply because you gave my mother $1 million house and you thought it was a dream makeover's house. My mother's crying to me because she's getting ass fucked. I'm the one that's chasing this guy when he's trying. Nobody knows about this goddamn shit. But you're going to get a Ken Cooper story and you're going to get a White Power story. This is what this motherfucker downstairs is fucking doing. Nobody knows anything about this. I'm the only defense. But you want to wait all the way until I'm almost fucking dead to infect me. It's just, and they don't want to go and shoot and just exterminate these pieces of shit into a garbage can. And when they're fucking dead and they have their family dead members, I want their fucking money and I want all their goddamn shit and scum their shit all the way like they did to me. And then we move forward evenly. But that's not going to happen because this President Borton's explanations of George Bush and Barack Obama and transgenders and faggots at the White House. That's all that's going on. You got George Bush's fucking nephew, his fat ass twins living over here, making their fluxing their power and their guns at me. These pigs over at the bus stop, they stand at the corner smoking cigarettes, and I know exactly who they fucking are. I know it's to milk me for the preparation. They want to give me some bullshit ass fucking Medal of Honor goddamn shit for Ken and Sarah Cooper and that fucking faggot Kenneth. After their faggots and shit did all this goddamn shit. Oh, Marine got burned alive and died. Oh, fuck you too. It's just like, and it's very upsetting because we did nothing. This is like, he can't even walk to a fucking goddamn, and they're making up these stories. They're making up these stories, and all these faggots get on TV, and all these celebrities, and they're, but we were helping it, and we saw Frankie walking with a limp, and he got fucked in his ass, and we sent somebody who was walking to school. You see, Hector didn't really do much. We were just making sure. You see how Hector didn't know that day, and it's all bullshit. Like, it's beyond anything that's fucked up because to this very day, that character, that person, and that is to contaminate my brain, just like this person is doing. Oh, but he's really a man and is playing reverse psychology. It's a reverse psychology effect that they're doing. Mickey knows what I'm talking about. I learned reverse psychology one day. He'll tell you this is an experiment that I did with Frankie. And I was very, very young. I was 7 to 8 years old. And I was in the back of my pickup truck. Talked to Mickey about this. And Mickey, we never got into an argument. Rarely ever. But sometimes there's a little nuisance kid. And he kind of, to me, was kind of like a sort of brother figure. He did have a brother figure, older sort of brother figure. He did. And I remember he said something like, "Give me that ball." He goes, and I said something to Mickey. I was like, "Oh, Mickey, you're not that good at Mickey, you're not that good at basketball." "Yes, I am." "No, you're not." "No, you're not." And I said, and he kept on saying yes, and I kept on saying no, and he kept on saying yes, and I did this a bunch of times. Look at him, and then I said yes, and then he said no. And he goes, and Frankie started laughing, and I looked at him and go, "Oh, okay." And he's like, damn. And I remember for like 2 weeks he was bouncing the basketball. And he was like, damn, that motherfucker was smart. He fucking fooled my ass. I was 7 years old and I did this. You probably may remember that day. And he goes, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Yes, you did." And I go, "No, you're not." "Yes," he goes, and he kept on saying yes, and I kept on saying no, and I kept on doing it for like 7 or 8 times at least. And then I said exactly what he said. And then he said exactly what I was saying, and the opposite. Like I was saying yes, I was saying no, he was saying yes, and then I switched it very quickly, and then he said the word yes instead of no. And as soon as he said that, I go, okay. And so, and he was like, pause. He was like, damn, But I thought it was important for me to talk about because, that's what they're doing to me. I go to these, and it's any defense, any storytelling, anything that goes on with Frankie, the rapes, all this other shit. They really want to re-identify. Like, as much as I'm saying for myself, they're making me pass gas forcefully. As much as I want to say to myself, this is over with, this is done. They want to contaminate any forward movement of identifying what these pigs did. So if the story goes that Ken Cooper was a hero, Ken Cooper was Jesus Christ, and then forfeited to Jesus Christ and the Bible and this verse in the Bible and this, as long as they keep doing that, I know they're making me pass gas repeatedly. As long as they keep re-identifying my ability to have zero defense and then say that it was something else, saying that it was psychology, there's no defense. There's absolutely no offense and no defense. I just play monkey with whatever these motherfucker did the whole entire time. And most of this information did get played monkey with me because I was allowed to talk about it and fooling me this entire time. And that's what they fucking did. So when you act in fear, like this guy that was behaving like Ken Cooper at the post office, and this is like going to the president's house or going to the White House, and they play this sort of stupid ass role for the faggots, for Kenneth, that's what they're fucking doing. It's not going to change anything. They know how women work. They know, let's feel sorry for, so-and-so. Let's feel sorry. I've had in my life and quality of life existence totally stripped from me at the very petty bullshit of fucking life. And I'm such a hard worker, doing everything I'm supposed to, and they're just mauling me apart. And I have no growth. I'm not able to become dysfunctional. All I'm thinking about is just fucking survival, and maintaining. I don't even want to go to the movies at 24, 25 years old because I get so many fucking tickets. I don't want to go out in public because I'm so fucking nervous. Because the attacks are so violent, I want to stay young, go to school and change my life, and this is kind of where I want to go into a new path and a different career choice. I don't want to do this music shit. I think life is, but nobody knows the stories. They don't give a shit. All you got to do is build the time down until they fucking die and kill them off. That's all you got to do. You got to find a pig that's going to sit down and pig it all the way down until you die for real, and for fucking real. This is not for real, not fucking acting, for real. Like, you're gonna get that phone call, you're gonna hear this person is dead, and you're gonna feel good and enriched of the sort of trophy of, I got rid of this worthless life, I got rid of this piece of shit. I'm gonna be honored for this. And they wear this coat, this honorary coat of death, and they move forward in this enriched emotion and mental invigoration. That's exactly what they're gonna do, and they do it for real. And it's the pig that sits in his fucking hotel or in his house all fucking day, just like a pedophile, just coming after me for it. And they don't care, because this person is so they caught up like Michael Jackson. You ever seen people that are caught up in Michael Jackson? They go to plastic surgeries offices, they change their face, they dress like this person. They are fucking Michael Jackson. Like, that person completely wiped out their own identity to turn into fucking Michael Jackson. They're so fucking crazy. Like transgenders, like that. They think about predatorial behavior toward me. And it feels good when you get rid of the worthless. Oh, we did it for our fellow gays. That's how Raymond was gay. It's just nobody knows the secrets. Like, I did all this labor, and none of it matters. None of it matters anymore. And still to this day, it's about honoring these faggots and honoring those pigs. And every time I have to pay for it with the pig that's driving the fucking bus and the pigs that are getting on the goddamn fucking, I can almost hear this piece of shit telling me to grow some tits and become a girl, shave my beard and head, put a wig on and start putting lipstick on. This is disgusting motherfucker. And this guy is the one that's on the back of the bus, and he looks at me. And he does this reversal, like, it's fucking crazy. This is a sickening this is what a pedophile, this is what a homosexual rapist exactly gave off when Nan and Joe did this to me when I was a kid. My Uncle Robert, and it was a fucking sick, disgusting homosexual rapist pedophile. Like, they are accepting that pedophile as who they are, and they want to intentionally inject that to me. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, and he does this sort of disgusting fucking, like, I don't know, like, fucking disgusting, like crazy, like pedophile, like exactly like rapist, the uncle fucking when he was raping the shit out of Frankie, like fucking fucked up. And he gets on the bus 2 days ago, and the bus drivers, they can make sure they get a heavy set guy, they make sure that intimidates, they break my body down, and he, builds it up like this is a military shootout, like the Marine. And they play this shit because you stay incarcerated, that mental state of that fear, of that. And that's all I'm feeding off of. Instead of thinking about other things I want to do and interesting topics in my own mind, I'm not able to. Because they send these parasitical motherfuckers, and they're still to this day, I'm 41 years old, and these motherfuckers are doing this. Not allowing me to go work out in the gym. And this is all to downplay me, push me down as much as they can. As much as they fucking can is push me down like a worthless... They don't give a fuck. This is murder-suicide. I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to kill myself, and I'm going to feel good about it because I'm going to make sure I put my mind in a state of mind that I'm just going to go to a fucking paradise of spirituality, because you're not shooting the fuck out of them with electronic devices. You're doing it to me. And they're very contentful. It's very contentful to live this Alison Duvall bullshit and John Edwards, where you just go to an afterlife and you read all these fucking bullshit books, and you don't have to worry about this fucking cross. All you got to do is worry about your fucking afterlife bullshit paradise, and that's how they believe. Because you're beating me with the electronic devices, not them, and they're making me shit right now. They just shot something in my leg. Something in my... Look, they just shot... Look, they're shooting something right now in my forearm. Down here my forearm, and then they'll make me pass gas. They're shooting... I just felt something. They were shooting something in my forearm. Well, you can see the psychology that I don't even understand to that, but I think it's important for me to talk about because Frankie's having his ass ripped open, and this guy looks like, that's what he looks like. He looks a little bit like this guy ripping his ass open. But you're going to do the Jesus Christ cross now, aren't you? I'm waiting for you to put the box over there. Make the sound again and electrocute me. Come on, faggot. I guess he don't want to right now. He's not giving the order. He's giving the serene scenery of the area. But I thought it was important. It's unbelievable. All the UFC fighters, Taylor Swift, Avril Lavigne, 95% of these parasitical, all white supremacists, and they're faggots. Commercials, actors, all the singers, the producers. It feels sorry for Sarah and can't, like, instead of not saying anything, they just psychology treasure them. And that's all they fucking do. They don't get, and they know who's at guilt, but they want to choose who's pretty. They want to choose who gets to look like what. And Frankie's having his ass ripped open for Sarah Cooper because Kenneth gets in the car one day, picks me up when I'm 25 years old. One time I hadn't talked to him in a long time, just happened to call him, got stranded. I was nervous, going back to pick up my last paycheck at Advanced Graphics. And he says something about that his mom, when he got on the radio, when he got on a reality show in New York, that his mom went to the front desk and these people and said, oh yeah, she started talking real sweet about me and just started, she like added some really good stuff about me. But I know what he was talking about, saying that he's already building up this tactical way that his mother's already feasting on all that entertainment bullshit and parasitically doing that because Frankie and all this, but he's already milking, training me. This is how disgusting and parasitical he's fucking doing. Now, this guy over here that gets on the bus is full-blown for Kenneth Cooper. DJ Kino. That's all this faggotist piece of shit is fucking doing. I thought I would say something, it's unbelievable because it's so parasitical. Parasitical than we can. It's greed, it's sick to your stomach. Fucking disgusting piece of shit. I got a dead sister, he's taking full ownership. And the psychologists and these white supremacists and all these places are all protecting him, so they beat me more to put me in that mental state. Oh yeah, you're right, okay. My mother is being fucked in her ass, being raped, crying to me, dead, not allowed to touch her sister, and then they psychology it, but it's time for $1 million house. I don't know I can't get a job. They all are coming after me. All of them. Because they're going to get their money for it. Gary Gwynn, Michael Moody. Oh, it's just, no, they were just detectives. Oh, no, bullshit. It's because they know you're young and your mind is very fragile. When I take your fucking life, you're not going to be able to do anything to me when I killed your fucking life. They know that's how they're going to do it. And they're not allowing me to defend myself or protect myself in any kind of way. They're not. They know they have to install fear in these tactical shit that they're doing. So I thought it was important. I thought it was important for me to talk about, because they know how to make the moves and attacks. Now, Michael Jackson was on my goddamn table, not theirs. No, they shifted it right over to their fucking table, and that's what they fucking did. I got affected by that with Frankie. Oh, we just gave you money, and Michael Jackson was a detective for Ken Cooper, and he was just pointing him out because that's how we see. And you can't do anything because you have all that's over there is White House and Congress are faggots and transgenders, fucking faggots all over the place, and masculine faggots, and that's all they're for. And it's so fucked up because Frankie's fucking gay. You're killing your fucking own. You're killing your fucking own so that you can give it to another. Oh, look, but he is a straight man, you see? They keep making me pass gas. It's fucking... It's unbelievable. Frankie's just their profitable gain, and I don't get anything from this. Even when I walk away and I don't have no remembrance, I don't get anything from this. I'm fucking no job, cancer, 40 fucking tickets, taking care of I don't get. You give my mother $1 million house. My mother don't want to tell you about the rapes and hostage and all this fucked up shit that's going on. And they don't give a shit. Michael Jackson, these people are living free with their parents, rent free. I don't get to spend money on equipment. I don't get to go to school. Paranoia starts to build up too much in me because it's more about who may want to do something to me next, because that's all that's happening. Remember that threat that happened over the phone? Oh, but you don't know about that story either, huh? And this is very calculating. Someone is sitting at a desk watching my items in my fucking room,